Well, it's been warm for the last several days, if not several weeks here in my garden, and now that the plants are growing, a cold front is headed this way. And behind that cold front is some very cold air. As a matter of fact, sub-freezing temperature for perhaps a night or two in our area. So what do I do to protect my plants? Welcome to Heavenly Backyard Gardening. Hi, I'm Pat Prokop. Welcome to my channel. This channel is devoted to astronomy, gardening, and weather. A lot of astronomy, but also a lot of gardening. And today my topic is how to protect your plants when a hard freeze and frost moves into your area after the plants have already sprouted. So let's go outside and take a look. So this is my potato patch. I planted these potatoes in the middle of February, and they've already come up in some areas. The ones I planted a little bit later are just beginning to pop their little eyes out of the ground right now. But these over here, the earlier batch, are already growing. So protecting potatoes is quite easy. As a matter of fact, it's almost beneficial. Not almost, it is beneficial for the potatoes. What you do is you take the dirt and soil around the potato and you just hoe it up to the plant itself, covering up a good portion of the plant. And that will protect it against the frost and freezing temperatures. And on the same token, it will also produce more potatoes if everything goes right. So you got two things at once here. You're protecting the potatoes and you're helping the potatoes. And by hoeing, you're also chopping up the weeds. That's another good thing about this. So actually you got three benefits right here from the hoeing up the soil into the potato plants itself. Now some of these taller plants here, I don't want to hoe the dirt up too much higher, so I'll just cover those up and they'll be fine. So what do I do about these beans? The beans have already come up, and I knew I was going to be gambling with this, but I had a way of protecting the beans themselves. They're in this trough, and I got some space above the beans where I can put a cover on top of the beans. And what I'm going to use is just an old sheet that was no longer needed. And what I'm going to do is just put the sheet on top of the plants themselves. And we just put the cover on, like so. Cover them up. So I want to make sure that the sheet does not blow away. So I brought me some brick here, and I'm just going to put them on top of the corners to protect the beans from being, or protect the sheets from blowing away to cover on my beans. I might put two more on here just to give it a little insurance policy. Let's see, right here, that'd be good. Right here would be good. All right, that sheet is secured. It's not going to blow away, and it's a double layer sheet, so it gives extra protection to the beans. So the beans are protected. So what do I do about my broccoli? Well, actually, probably not much at all. Broccoli can take it down into the upper 20s for a few hours. So I'm not too worried about the broccoli plants. You know, after all, they do like it cold, but not real cold or sub-freezing. But they can deal with some sub-freezing temperatures. And I'm just probably going to throw a light cover on top of the broccoli and not worry too much about the broccoli and the cauliflower as well. But they're doing rather well, as you can see. And they'll do fine after this freeze. But what about the cucumbers? I got some cucumbers here, and I got a little rack for the cucumbers to grow up. I started these cucumbers from seeds, and you know what? They're going to get bit hard by the frost and freezing temperatures. So I need to cover these up. I can mulch them, or I can cover them. Let's try mulching. So I got some finely composted pine straw here, and I just cover these up like so. And this will protect them from the freeze. Get them all covered up like so, and they should be fine. Then when the freeze is over, I can just work this in as mulch. So the cucumbers will be fine. Now for the tomatoes, like the beans, they do not tolerate temperatures at freezing or below. And actually they don't even like it below 35. So what I'm going to do with the tomatoes is the same thing I did with the beans. I'm going to cover these up with a double layer of sheets, and then I'm going to put some bricks around here as well. I'm going to remove the hoops that I have in here, which comes out very easily, so that's not an issue right there. But going to cover up the tomato plants, and then I'll take the covers off the next day when the frost and freezing threat is over. So what am I going to do about all these daylilies? The daylilies have started growing, but you know, they're perennial and they can handle the frost and freeze. They're not going to like it, but they'll survive. A lot of the leaves might get burned, but you'll just have to deal with that later. Another thing you can do is the water method is when the temperature drops to at freezing or slightly below, turn your water system on and ice the plants down, and then form that insulated protective layer of ice on the leaves of the plant. But remember, you must wash off that ice before it melts off the following morning. Same thing if frost forms on the plants, which I expect Sunday night, Monday morning in our area. If the frost develops on the plant, make sure you wash the frost off and don't let it melt. And of course, if you have hanging baskets, you want to take them down and take them into a warm location, such as a garage or a greenhouse. If you have the greenhouse, take them inside, and they're easy. Just take them down, store them. When the freeze threat is over, just bring them back outside and hang them back up and enjoy. See, now these are my snapdragons that I planted last October, and they survived the night when the temperature dropped to 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The snapdragons are annuals, but they can handle a light freeze and frost. Again, they don't like it, but they'll survive. And of course, another protection from the freeze and frost is to have a backup plan. In the backup plan, I have extra seeds left, ready to plant in the event everything gets frozen to the ground and dies. But then again, as I mentioned in my previous video, a good gardener will gamble. And so this is where the gamble is beginning to show, and will it pay off or not. Another thing is, I got some trays of seeds already started that I'm holding back inside a warm room. So again, if I have a freeze, these cucumbers here and squash plants will be ready to go into the ground shortly thereafter. And I have lots of extra tomato plants that I have as a backup as well. So it's important to have backups in just about everything, but here in the garden, it's important to have the backups. Well, I hope this will help you, give you some ideas how to protect your garden when the freezing temperatures do arrive unexpectedly. Well, I hope these tips are helpful for your gardening ventures. These late freezes can produce problems in the garden, but they also can be beneficial as well, as in the case of the potatoes, where hoeing up the soil around the potatoes actually is beneficial for the potato plant itself. Well, I do a lot of gardening videos, astronomy videos, and some weather videos as well. And I always like to end up saying, remember, the heavens are filled with majestic glories. Always look up and look up at the stars. But let's not forget about the gardens either. A lot of beautiful things right here on Earth, the beauty of the gardens. Thanks for watching.